I emailed, but I don't know whether you saw it, but I've mapped out the 7 steps,
Okay.
kind of role played it, kind of practiced it. Step one, step two sounded obviously it's a lot of me talking. It gets into them more. But I just wondered if, in between there, what are your thoughts on throwing in a, hey, did I catch you at a bad time? That kind of thing to sort of break it up. Because I did have one woman, she was like, I'm excited to talk to you, but you caught me at a bad time. You didn't even ask, like, can you call me tonight?
So
So
are
that's
you,
that
when
one.
you say the 7 steps, do you mean these 7 steps that are up here on the board? Get their attention,
Yeah,
deliver an insight?
yeah, the first two I'm talking about, I get their attention,
Mm-hmm.
who I am, how we're connected, and then pretty much quickly go into, the insight.
Okay.
And it just seems, again, from there, it becomes a lot less of me. Obviously, it's questions and things
Yep.
like that. But it just felt when I was saying it,
It's a
and like I say,
lot.
it sounds a lot, and literally, like I said, one of the first people I spoke to, she was literally like, when I got to the end of the insight, she was like, this is really exciting. I want to talk to you, but
Mm-hmm.
now's not a good time. Can you call me tonight? She was
Was
like,
she stepping into a meeting?
she didn't say any of that. She didn't say like her kid's hair were on fire or
Right.
anything. But it was just, she was like, she was lovely, but she was like, you didn't even ask. So that's where I got the, oh, should I be like, hey, I just wonder what your thoughts on are like, hey,
Yeah.
Matt, did I catch you at a bad time?
So here's what happened. You got into the aircraft and you just watched the movie with Top Gun and you're like, it can't be that hard, and you just freaking went for it, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, which is why when you're cold calling somebody and you're getting their attention, which is why in course 2, I recommend if it's the first time talking to them that you eject to avoid a deadly crash. And it's counterintuitive, but when they answer, right? Like let's say if it's a voicemail, your voicemail may sound something like this. Hey, Alan, Matt Easton over here at Easton University. You and I are connected because we both attended that Small Business Expo there in Surrey. Hey, there is something going on that every software company is having to deal with right now. Nobody's talking about it. I wanted to make sure you were aware of it. I'm on my, check this out, mobile.
Love it.
Yeah, +1 +1 720 660 3202. That's my voicemail, right? And there's a ton of these hooks, right? And you can craft your own. But if you answer, right, I'm going to do the same beginning. Hey, Alan, Matt Easton over here at Easton University. You and I are connected because we were both at that small business conference there in Surrey, right? And you're going to go, oh, yeah, I went to that. Yeah, hey, I wanted to reach out to you personally because I don't think we've helped your team yet. Can I email you something over to what we're doing over here at Easton University so you can take a look when you have some time? Then you're going to go, oh, yeah, because I'm really busy and I don't have time to talk and stuff right now. And I'm going to say, perfect, what's the best email for you? And you're going to go, alan@allen.com. I'm going to go, perfect, I'm going to send something over right now. Awesome, cheers, mate. Right, and then boom, we're going to get off the phone. Right, and this is something that a lot of people don't figure out, and it's okay if you don't figure it out. Right, it is okay if you're like, man, I have somebody on the phone. I want to go through all of these 7 steps. I'm going to get their attention. I'm going to talk about an insight. Then I'm going to say, how are you dealing with that? And then they're going to be like, oh my God, it's a real problem for me. And then we're going to monetize it. And then I'm going to say, because of the fact that you said blank, I'd like to recommend blank. And then I'll be like, hey, does it make sense for us to install the software, get out there, run a quote, whatever it is? They're going to go, hell yeah. And I'm going to say, congratulations, you made a great decision, right? This does not happen in the real world, right? That happens in movies. In the real world, they have a limited, and it's like 7 seconds of talking to a stranger before you don't want to talk to that stranger anymore. Even if that stranger has the cure for what ails you, you're not ready for that conversation right now. Which is why I recommend, and at least me personally, and I think Patrick's on here. Patrick made a comment on the thing. Patrick's like, dude, this is good stuff because I've had some deadly crashes. I have too, Patrick. Because you'll have somebody that's really excited, and if you don't pump the brakes and pull the ejection and get out of that cockpit, then she's like, you never let me talk, and you burn the whole thing up. So my recommendation would be never force that conversation, because there's a huge difference. If I called Derek and eject the first day, right? Hey, we're connected because, hey, we're connected because we both blah 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 blankety blank, or we're connected on LinkedIn, or we're connected, Derek, because I manage all of our relationships with mid-tier CAD manufacturers. It could just be what my scope is, could be a connection, by the way. And then Derek goes, okay, I just pause, right, cool. Hey, wanted to reach out to you personally, because I don't think we've helped your team in engineering yet. Can I shoot you over a link to what we're doing? He's going to go, yeah. Or here's where you can go into your insight. He's going to go, well, I got you. What is it that you're doing? Because we are looking for some help with our CAD designs. And I'm going to say, when you say you're looking for some help with your CAD designs, can you give me a specific example? Yeah, we're trying to bring in top-tier talent or offload it to offshore or AI, whatever, right? And then he's going to go, what do you guys do? And I'm going to use my Easton University and go, would it help if I gave you an idea of the kinds of things that we do? Sure. And now I'm going to go, hey, blah, 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 blank, 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 right? I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell the insight in the form of a story. And then I'm going to say, how are you dealing with that? Now I'm right where you were before, but Derek invited the conversation, right? I didn't force it all the way in there. So that's why I recommend, and I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I recommend anytime we're cold calling and they answer, and I know it's so freaking hard because 1 in 212 people answer nowadays, you got to get off the phone. And then you can call them back the next day and go, hey, Derek, Matt, Easton, we had spoke yesterday. I was thinking about you guys, and there is something that now I can say the insight live because we have a relationship. Does that make sense?
It does, and I apologize. I probably should have added this. This is not a true cold call.
Okay.
So I have cold callers like calling people, and 95% of them are like, I don't want to sell my house.
Okay.
The other 5% that say, yeah, I'd be open to an offer, get pushed into my CRM, and that's when I call.
Okay, and what's the first thing that you say when you call?
Matt, Alan Chambers with 901 Cash Offers. You and I are connected because you spoke to one of my team members about possibly selling your home in Memphis. I just want to reach out personally and, blah, blah, blah. And then I go into the insight. And that's
okay, I'm going to fix that. Can I fix that for you?
Sure.
So here's the problem. Yeah, here's the problem. You're jumping into an insight after they had already spoke with somebody from your team. You don't have to do that. Now what I want you to do is I want you to come in with high authority and high credibility and go, hey, Matt, Alan Chambers here with 123 Cash, whatever it is. Hey, wanted to reach out to you personally, make sure my people got you all the information you needed on selling your house. Pause. And they're going, oh, yeah, thanks, Alan. And you're going to go, my pleasure. What can I get you information on? Okay, now what have I done? I've established rules of engagement. Okay, number one, I wanted to reach out to you. The initial reason for my call was not to sell them anything, not to pitch them anything. The initial reason for my call is I wanted to make sure my people got you all the information you needed on selling your house. There's a huge difference when you start a conversation that way. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, I know my people didn't because they're just cold callers and they're just appointment setters. That's okay. It's not a lie. It's okay. I'm giving you permission to say, I want to reach out to you personally to make sure my people, and you can play around with that statement. Hey, I wanted to step in here personally and make sure my people got you all the information you needed on selling your house. They all say the same thing. Thank you. Okay? Or you might have a little segment in your CRM. I call it decayed. They decayed me. What is decayed? Don't know. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. That's where you got to go back to whoever set that appointment and go, you really talking to people or are you just putting stuff in the CRM? Right? Right? Because you're going to catch them because they decayed you. And be like, I had 3 people decay me. So either you're not calling people or you're not following the script. You're not doing it right. But that's going to happen very rarely, if ever. If they're doing it right, they're never going to decay you. They're never going to not know who you are. Then you're going to say, yeah, my pleasure. What can I get you information on? Well, we're not serious. Should be crystal clear here. Right?
Yeah.
But we've given some thought to selling our house. When you say you've given some thought to selling your house, Can you give me a specific example? Right? What's your biggest reason, just out of curiosity, what's your biggest reason for wanting to sell the house? If you were to sell the house, what's your biggest reason for wanting to sell the house? Now I don't even need the insight right now because they asked for a call. So there's no need for me to give an insight. I can keep it holstered, right? I can conceal carry my insight and then use it as leverage to say, you know, it's interesting that you say, hey, you know, you do want to sell the house, but you're looking for kind of a hybrid where you are able to get as close to top dollar as possible without having to go through the nightmare of getting the house clean, getting all your mother's stuff out of there that's still in the house. She is very difficult for her to move around. You don't want to deal with all the disruption of showings. You know, as I listen to everything that you're saying, Gina, you sound like an excellent person to work with us. And I would probably say that's the number one reason why people come over to Cash Offers is that ability to get as close to what they would have, and in some cases, what they would have gotten if they went with a traditional agent, if they put it up, they had a photographer come in there every Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, oh my gosh, 15 minutes, we're down the street, I've got a buyer that wants to, that's probably the biggest reason why people come over to us is you're just able to do all of this without people trouncing through the house there. Does it make sense for me to put together an offer for you? Like you can use the insight, maybe that was your insight, right? Like that it's around all the difficulty of selling a house, all the time they spend on the market. The commission is 6%. You don't have to go into that. And I don't want you to go into that in the beginning when it was a setup call because they haven't talked about them, which brings me back to like my monologue. Talk about them in the beginning, right? And then if they're like, you know, it's not a good fit for me, Alan, hey, no problem. I'll be here when you need to get, you know, as much as you possibly can for the house as quickly as possibly, but most importantly, without a disruption to your mom where you're not asking her to get everything ready, clean everything up at a moment's notice for a showing that's not even going to show up. Fair enough? But yeah, he's got a great point there. So when it's set, okay, for all of us, when an appointment is inbound, when it's an inbound lead, or somebody set the appointment, the start is always the same. Wanted to reach out to you personally, make sure my people got you all the information you needed. When you reference people, you're now just checking in and it doesn't feel like combat. It doesn't feel like I'm here to sell you something. It feels like we're both looking at my people and I go, hey, they get you everything you needed? And they say, oh, thank you. You don't even say, don't, by the way, I want to make sure I'm crystal clear. You don't go, hey, did my people get you everything you needed? Because their answer is going to be, yup, click. You're going to say, wanted to reach out to you personally, make sure my people got you all the information you needed. Pause. Nobody ever says, yeah, they did, because they didn't. Nobody's had a conversation. But if you ask an affirming question, they'll affirm it. It's really weird. But they just pause and they go, oh, okay, thanks. And you go, my pleasure. What can I get you information on? And then you're right into your wheelhouse of boom, what's your biggest reason for needing to sell the house? Right? When you say you want to get top dollar, can you give me a specific example? Like what were you thinking there? Have you had the house on the market before? Now I'm going to ask all my questions about them. And now I get to pivot this way. Here's my nice little pivot. What research have you done on us? Well, I don't know anything about you. The person just called me. It's interesting that you say this because, I mean, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why Cash Offers came to be is you're not alone. I just want to give you some free therapy. Like, you're not the only person that has a situation, especially with an elderly parent there. I can totally respect the stress that you're under of not wanting to, you know, bring photographers in there, not wanting to disrupt things. I believe if you said correctly, your mom's 82 years old, but we want to be able to make sure that we're getting as much cash for her in that asset as she goes over into assisted living as possible without asking her to leave the home. That's exactly one of the main reasons why we're in business, right? And now you're having a super skillful conversation.
Okay.
What can you do to prove to people that Easton University can help them double their income in 90 days?
I'll prove it right now. Closing Masterclass. I'll buy it for you, $300, link in my bio. I will show you how to close. This will double your closing percentage, not even 90 days. It will double it within 30 days. Now, here's the thing. Is your income going to double? Probably not, because you still need to prospect. You still need to put those deals in your pipeline. But if you click the link in my bio, you will learn how to close right here, right now, and you're going to close those deals that are already in your pipeline.